I recently uploaded a teaser on which I showed you guys what I'm gonna come up with in my next tutorial. So let's jump right into Premiere Pro and let's get started. Grab your clip and drop it on the timeline. The video that I've used has a frame where the subject shows his face clearly. So you might want to pick up a video in which the subject shows his face clearly. Now choose a point where you want your animation to take place. The idea is to create an animation in which two X pop out of the subject's eyes and making them disappear as they appear. Now get to the point where you want your animation to take place. I will choose this particular frame because it has the most frames with the subject's face. Now go to Files, select New and select Legacy Title. The new title will open with the dimension size of your videos, so you don't have to change that. Now get to the point where you want your animation to take place and double click on the new title to start making your scribbles. Take the pen tool and start making your scribbles. Now pick up the pen tool and make an X over the subject size. Now go to Properties and select the caps type round. I'll make the line more thicker by changing the line width to 35. And we'll also choose a color for his eyes. So I'll choose red for his eyes. If you're satisfied with what you've made, close this tab, grab the new title and drop it above the main clip. Our next step is to give movement to this element. Now we'll make the element move in the same direction in which the subject's moving. By doing so, it will look like as if the element is copying the movement of the subject. We're going to make a path for the element to follow. Now before I make any changes, let me close this tab. Now go to Effects and search for an effect called Circle and drop it on the Effects Control panel. Now once you drop these effects on your Effects Control panel, you'll see a white circle on your video. I'm going to change the center of the circle by changing these two values. The first value moves the circle left right and the second value moves the circle up and down. I'll place the circle in the middle of the X. This white circle works as a torch in the darkness, which is going to make our animation look alive. Change the blend mode to normal to view the circle. The stencil alpha is used to make the element invisible. So I will change the blending mode to stencil alpha. Now our element is completely invisible. And this is the point where we make our scribble alive. Click this little stopwatch to activate the radius key and enter the value 75. Now move few frames forward. I will get to this point and change the value to around 200. Now our element is visible a bit more, but I think I should make it more visible. So I will change the value to around 250. This seems good. Now if I change the blending mode to normal again, you'll be able to see that the circle has completely covered the element. We'll add few more changes. So change the blending mode to stencil alpha again. Add a key here and change the value to 0. The reason that I included one more key before this one because the element was a bit visible, but I wanted it to be completely invisible in the first place. I will push this value a bit here so it gives more faster transition. Now let's see how it looks. I think the changes are still not smooth, so I will push back this value a bit more. So I will push this value a bit more here. Now I think this transition looks really smooth. Now it's time to change the direction of the element and match it with the positions of the subject's eyes. But before that, change the blending mode to normal again. Now push this little stopwatch here to activate the positions key. As I play the video, you can see the position of the element is not changing at all. We have to match it with the directions and positions of the subject's eye. I will turn off the circle effect by clicking this FX here. The element is visible here without the circle. Now play the clip and find the point where the animation has to be visible. In this point, the element has to be moved a bit left, so I will move it by changing the first value of positions. Now play the clip again and check the position. In this point, the subject eye is a bit more to the left, so I will move the element to the left by changing this value. The positions of the subject's eye move gradually to the left, so I will fast forward and make changes just to save time. Between these two frames, I will change the radius of the circle. In this point, the element has to gradually disappear. The radius value is around 200, which doesn't fit. Add a key here and change the value to 150. I'll move to this one and I'll change the value to 100. Make another key in the next frame and change the value to 50. Add a last key here and change the value to 0. Play the clip and see how it looks. When you're done with this one, you'll have to make another element for the other eye. So choose a point where you want the other element in this animation. For the new element, go to Files, select New and select Legacy Titles. Now you know what you have to do in this one. Pick up the pen tool and start making your scribble. Before this, get to the point where you want your animation to take place. And I'll choose this particular point. Now go to the new title by double clicking on it. I'll make an X over the subject's eye on this one as well. Press Ctrl and A to select the scribbles and go to Properties and change the caps type to round and change the line width to 35. Don't forget to give this a color. Close the tab. Now drop this new title above the first title. Now we have both the element over the subject's eye. Now go to Effects and search for Circle and drop it on the Effects control panel. I'm gonna fast forward any changes that I'm gonna make on this one because you already know what you have to do. Play the clip after the changes to see how it turns out. Now both the elements of X are popping out of the subject's eye, but I think I'm gonna change the left X because it is a bit more bigger than the right one. I'm gonna resize this. You don't have to do this if you have made the X correctly. Both of these two elements are all set for the animation. Now we'll make another element in which we'll create a circle around the subject's face. So open a new legacy title for this. I'll use the pen tool to make a circle. If you know how to use a pen tool, it will be easy for you. You just have to drag the circle and make curves on the edges and connect the joints in the end. Go to Properties. Now I'll change the line width to 35. Now close this tab and find the new title and drop it above the last title. All these titles should be stacking one above another. Now this circle is above the subject's face. But choose a better frame where you want your animation to take place. We'll add the circle effect on this as well. Find the circle effect and drop it on the effects control panel. I'll fast forward the changes that I made on this one. I have added another effect called roughen edges and changed the border to 20. Change the blending mode to normal to view the white circle. After you add the circle effects in the title, place the white circle inside the title circle. Now we will match the circle's movement with the subject's head movement. So activate the positions key by clicking this little stopwatch. In this point, the element has to be moved to the right, so we'll move it by changing this value. I also moved it to the bottom as well. Now as you move frame by frame, you keep making changes, so I'm gonna fast forward to make rapid changes. I've also changed the rotation to few degrees just to match it with the subject's head. We'll change the radius on this point. Activate the radius key here by clicking this little stopwatch. Before making any changes, I changed the radius of the circle to 0. Change the blending mode to stencil alpha. Move few frames forward and activate a key here and change the value to 300. Change the blending mode to stencil alpha to see how much of the white circle has covered the element. The white circle has not even touched the element, so we need to increase the radius of the circle. Change the value to 500 and change the blending mode to stencil alpha. The circle has touched few parts of the circle. The elements that are visible are the parts of the element which are covered by the white circle. Now play the clip to see how it looks. I think this element is disappearing very soon, so I'm gonna give more time to this element on the frame. In this point, I want this element to be more visible So I'm gonna change the radius of the circle to 500. I think it still needs more visibility, so I'm gonna change it to 600. Between these two frames, the element will disappear itself. So add a key between these two frames and change the value to around 400. Now play the clip and see the result. Now all these scribbles are giving us this really cool animation. I'll play this few more times just to check the smoothness of the effect. We are almost done with this scribble animation. We just have to add one more element. We'll make few more elements around the subject's face just to make the animation look pop. So open a new title for the element. I'll close this tab for now, and I will choose a point where I want my animation to take place. I'll keep this element right before where the circle element disappears. I'll also shorten up all these titles. Drop the new title above the last title. Now go to the new title and draw your scribble. With the help of the pen tool, I'll make lines around the subject's face. I'll draw only one side of the subject's face and copy the lines and paste it on the left side of the subject's face. This will save my time. Go to properties and change the caps type to round and change the line width to 40. Now close this tab. The title has already placed on the timeline. If you play the video, you can see it has already given us this animated effect. But we're gonna make this more smooth. So go to effects and search for circle effect and drop it on the effects control panel. Also add the roughen edges effect on it. Change the border value to 10. Change the blending mode to normal before we change the radius of the circle. Now move and place this white circle in the middle of these lines. Now activate a key here in this starting point. And as you move forward in the frames, keep increasing the radius of the circle gradually. Like on this point, I will change the radius of the circle to around 600. It is not enough, so we will change the value to 700. But it is still not enough, so we will change the value to 1000. It has now covered the element. Change the blending mode to stencil alpha. I will push this key to the left for more smoother transition. We'll add a key few frames forward, so choose a point. So I will change the value here to 100. This scribble will disappear within few frames. So we will shorten up this title bar down here. I will add one more key between these two keys. So get in between these two keys and add a key here and change the value to 900. Now play the video to see how it looks. And this was our final step towards the animation. The combination of these titles are giving us what we call a scribble animation. I hope you guys have learned something new with this tutorial. If you've made this far, thank you for watching this video. I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, stay tuned.